We bombed the hell out of them last night. They're very, very evil and sick people.
All hell is breaking loose.
You're watching the Midas touch way too much, man.
Yeah.
First of all, real quick, I'm a little upset with you. I'm wearing all black today because this is a memorial video for one of the greatest senators to ever live, Lindsey Graham. Where's
I
your?
wouldn't go as far as one of the greatest senators to ever live.
Yeah, not at all. I'm really struggling with like how to handle
Maybe
this today.
if you're in the Israeli government, I think you might think that Lindsey Graham is one of the greatest senators to ever live. But
Or
other than that, for the American people, he's probably one of the worst senators to ever
say,
live.
or the Ukrainian government. And I will say I have a weird thing where like I'm very pro Ukraine and I believe we should be helping Ukraine and Lindsey Graham was instrumental in that. Now, everything else Lindsey Graham did in the past 10 years, I'm not a big fan of, but his work for Ukraine, I've been very proud of. Real quick, so
R.I.P. Lindsey Graham.
yeah.
I'll just say that.
Well, let's get a couple things out of the way real quick. First of all, there are some people that are not fans of Lindsey Graham today that are kind of celebrating online, and it's getting the normal
On
tweets from,
Twitter?
yeah, on Twitter, and like
Okay.
the usual like Meghan McCain's are like, I can't believe that the left would speak ill of someone who just died. His body's not even cold yet. Let's all remember back to Donald Trump with Robert Mueller. I think his tweet was Robert Mueller's dead. Good. I'm glad he's dead, or something along those lines. With Rob Reiner, it was this guy. So save it. Like if you want to equally like if you want to get on to the left when they celebrate somebody on the right dying, and then also get on to Trump for his incredibly poor tasted tweets, like I'm cool with that. But if you
Oh,
only go ahead,
the weird thing is that X is such a cesspool of bullshit that
it is.
you're allowed to celebrate somebody's death
Yeah.
on there. And there's no repercussions. Nobody really cares. Nobody's really paying attention. People are paying attention, but there's so much just like hate on there
Oh
that
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a nightmare.
It's the worst of America. And like I get the whole like, hey, freedom of speech. Like this, everybody should get to say whatever they want. Like I get it, but also it sucks, but like people are too shitty to handle that respectfully. Like
Well,
there's too many assholes.
we also talked about how Elon Musk is censoring stuff. What was we were
Yeah.
talking about this last episode. What was he taking down?
I can't remember what all he's taken down now. It's been something different every month for the past 2 years, but yeah, it's anyhow. So to get that out of the way, also, when did you find out he died? Would you wake up and see my text to you last night?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so I went over to a buddy's and watched the UFC fights last night, and when I got home, I saw like 3 or 4 tweets from people I didn't know. They were saying, "Oh my God, Lindsey Graham just died," and like I think the first time I saw it. In my head, I read Lindsey Graham, but I thought Mitch McConnell. Like that's just kind of I was like, oh, Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
And then I saw it a couple more times, and I was like, honestly, I thought the people tweeting it had it wrong. I was like, no, 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 you mean Mitch McConnell, not Lindsey Graham. Then I saw the actual statement from Lindsey Graham or from his team, his office, and I had to sit there for a second, and I was like, am I? I had some whiskey last night. I was like, am I drunk? Like what exactly is happening here? And no, Lindsey Graham was the one that died. The official statement was on the evening of Saturday, July 11th, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away from a brief and sudden illness. Senator Graham's family appreciates prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. Two things there, real quick. They said in a sudden illness. He was in Ukraine on Friday. He flew back, like, I guess, overnight Friday into Saturday morning. We have him on camera on Friday. He's touring drone facilities, meeting with Zelensky, seemed perfectly fine. So the whole, like, after a battle with a brief or sudden illness, like, that is a quick illness. Like, what he gets sick Saturday afternoon, and
Yeah.
turns out it seems that he had cardiac arrest. There's a 911 call. Um,
Yeah, why didn't they just say that? Like he suffered from cardiac arrest and passed away. I
That
mean,
I don't. Maybe they weren't sure at the time what happened, but like it made it seem like he'd been battling something, and that's clearly not what happened. He died of a heart attack. It was terrible still, but not what happened there. Um, Real quick on the talk of term limits, I saw this and I thought this was really interesting. Lindsey Graham held his seat from 2003 to 2026. So what is that? 23 years he was in his seat. Would have been 24 if he would have finished his term. Okay. Before him, there is a guy named Strom Thurmond who held the seat from 1956 to 2003. So from so from 1956 to 2026, there were only two senators in that seat, Strom Thurmond and then Lindsey Graham. That's 70 years In 70 years, two people in that seat.
I don't like that. Yeah, we need term limits in the House and the Senate, in the Supreme Court. We need term limits.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. And I remember Strom Thurmond, and this was barely when I was paying attention to politics, but towards the end, he was like McConnell is now. Like they were wheeling him in. Which, what's going on with Mitch McConnell still? Like I'm awaiting that the guy that goes on CNN, Scott Jennings. He's the guy that said, "Oh, I talked to him for about 17 minutes the other day, and he was real sharp, and we talked about Iran and Ukraine. About he said all this stuff, and people were pushing back, like, "Hey, why doesn't he put out a video? This and that." And he said, and I believe it was Saturday, he said, "Oh, I think you're going to see some proof of life by Monday that you're going to be quite happy with," or he said something along those lines. So basically implying that he knows they're going to put out some kind of a video. He said by Monday. So I'm giving him till Monday at midnight. If by Monday at midnight we don't have any proof of life for Mitch McConnell, then Scott Jennings can kiss my ass. Like they need to get him off the air. He's lying to us.
Scott Jennings should have given off the air in like 10 years ago.
Well, 4 years ago he was anti-Trump, and then he totally flipped around, and so
Yeah,
kind of like
he's flipping. He's been flipping all his life. He's just a flip flop. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He just puts his finger in the air and sees which
yep,
way the wind's blowing, and that's which way he goes. And he follows the money. It's probably not the wind, it's the money. He's just
yeah.
following money. He has that sweet little spot on CNN where he just spews complete and utter bullshit and makes probably $10 million a year.
Well, that's where so I don't want to say, I was about to say I feel bad for CNN. That's not the right way to say it at all. But I understand what CNN's like. CNN desperately wants to represent both sides. Like if they're gonna debate a topic, they want to have somebody on to be the pro-Trump side to battle this. It is really hard right now to get a Republican to go on CNN or MSNBC or ABC, to go on any reputable channel because they're gonna get crushed. They're gonna get hit with facts left and right. So it's a matter of like, who could you possibly get to come on and be the pro-Trump person? They kind of have to take what they can get. There's not a lot of options. It's not like if they said, "Hey, Scott Jennings is full of shit. Let's get rid of him and bring somebody else in." Who's the somebody else you're going to bring in? Like they're not willing to do it. So I get it from that point of view.
Well, there's got to be some Republicans. I mean, what about Meghan McCain? Just have her. If
I don't.
she's probably more of a like decent, you
So
know,
like
Republican.
the rest of them, I'm going to say she's not dumb enough to go on a real news show and try to defend what Trump's doing. Like she knows she would get crushed. So they all stay in their safe spaces. They like Meghan McCain has a podcast where she brings on people that are going to agree with her all day long. Like she never puts herself in a situation where she has to debate what's really happening against somebody from the other side. That's what
Yeah.
most of the right's doing that these days. Like I said, there's not many people like Scott Jennings that are willing to go on CNN and try to defend things Trump's doing. So anyhow,
It's defense. It's just bullshit. Like
oh,
he
it is.
just
Yeah,
lied. Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know. You can't defend Trump without just lying through your teeth.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Real quick, have you ever noticed the way that Trump, first of all, when somebody dies that he hates, he's quick to dance on their grave. But
Yeah.
even when it's somebody that he likes, it's always a weird tweet. The Trump on Lindsey Graham, especially, just interesting.
Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the greatest people and senators I've ever known, is dead.
Dead with an exclamation point. Is dead.
He was always working. It was a true American patriot. Lindsey will be greatly missed. Details and arrangements to follow. So sad. President Donald J. Trump.
I don't know how I would have said it, but Senator Lindsey Graham is dead! Exclamation point is not how I would have said it. Like I'd have to think real hard about how I would have tweeted that out. His are always interesting to me. It's like he's
Yeah,
shouting
it's
them.
unfortunately, Senator Lindsey Graham has passed away last night,
Far too
and
soon,
we
or
were
so,
mourning. Yeah,
yeah.
But
Lindsey
dude,
Graham is dead.
I was just watching an interview. They were talking about it was Netanyahu talking about Lindsey Graham
Mm.
and how Lindsey Graham they would get a bill pushed through to get Israel more money, and Lindsey Graham would be like, "I'm fighting to get you guys more money," and Netanyahu's like, "Well, we don't really need more money,"
Yes, you
but Lindsey
do.
Graham really wanted to keep give them our tax dollars. Like,
So, and that's an interesting thing because like Mike Huckabee, who's the U.S. ambassador to Israel, he came out. Whatever his tweet was like Lindsey Graham loved Israel more than any other senator, and it was all about Israel. And it's like, hey, like, okay,
yeah,
I get it that he focused on it, international foreign policy, but like your tweet doesn't have to be all about how much he loved Israel. Like what? Anyhow, it's a
Right,
little weird.
America. He is an American senator, not an Israeli senator. He's American, not Israeli. And
Yeah, and that's
let's,
there's this thing, and so I'm going to say it's on the right, and I very well might be missing times that it happens on the left. It could be, because this could be a both sides thing. But on the right, when there's a death, it's almost like there's a theory of like never let a death go to waste. Like my case in point, like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, from what I know, spent the last what, like 6 months to a year of his life, like arguing vehemently that like we should not attack Iran, we shouldn't go to war with Iran. He was kind of turning on Israel, is what it looked like. And this isn't from behind the scenes stuff. This is from what the clips I've seen. Like he was becoming skeptical of why we're always doing what Israel says. The second he died, all these people, Netanyahu leading the charge, were coming out going, oh, more than anything, Charlie Kirk wanted us to defend. And in the last phone call I had with him, he was talking about the importance of defending Israel and like using his death to push whatever they were wanting. And it was weird to me, and it's already happening with Lindsey Graham. Right now, more than anything, Donald Trump wants to get the Save, what is it, the Save Act or the Save America Act? Like he wants that to go through with all his heart. He died last night at, we found out at 1 a.m. Central Time, and by this morning it was like a call went out, and hey, let's not waste this opportunity. Let's get the Save Act across the finish line. I pulled a quick little. This is a compilation of Trump on MSNBC, or I think NBC, and then Mike Lee from Utah on Fox. Check this out.
And he called and he said, we're all set for the Save America Act. He was pushing the Save America Act like crazy. He got back, said he just landed from Ukraine, but he wanted to pass the Save America Act. And I said, well, we're going to get it done, Lindsey. We're going to get it done. I'll see you like soon. We thought maybe we might even meet today. And then that was it.
One of the best ways we could honor Lindsey Graham's legacy would be to take this up and pass it this month.
So let's honor Lindsey Graham by passing the Save America Act. And right there, Mike Lee, most of that interview with Maria Bartiromo, he kept saying, oh, well, 80% of America is for the Save Act. Even Democrats are for it. Okay, they keep confusing these two items. 80% of America is okay with voter ID. And if they tried to put forward just a straight voter ID law, it would probably pass both houses pretty easily. The Save America Act is not just, it's voter ID with a lot of terrible stuff tucked in with it. That's why it's not going to pass. Anyhow, it's stupid.
what is that? What is the vote at right now? Do we know?
So the House has passed it several times because the House just has to have a majority. So there's more Republicans in the House, so they have passed it. The Senate won't even put it on the floor for a vote. Apparently, there's at least 5 or 6 Republicans that won't vote for it, and the leader is trying to basically protect them from having to take an official stance on it. So he's just not putting it on the floor, And he keeps telling Trump, hey, it doesn't have the votes. I'm not putting it on the floor if it doesn't have the votes. Trump wants them to put it on the floor so he can see exactly who's voting no so that he can go after them on Twitter. And the Senate leader is protecting his members by not doing that.
I feel like there should be more of a, I don't know, an application process to become a House member. We just have too many crazy fucking House people. Like, I mean, we have Matt Gaetz, we got Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, who's the guy from Kentucky? I mean, there's just like there's so many lunatics in the House.
What's weird is some of the lunatics are starting to make sense to me, though. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, every time I see anything she's saying these days, I'm like, I agree with that. Even Lauren Boebert recently has said some things where I'm like, oh, good point, Lauren. What the heck? Like, I can't believe I'm saying
because
that.
she's going against Trump right now.
She is, but she's saying she's choosing to say the correct thing versus what Trump wants her to say, which I got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, but let's also remember the first 4 years of each one of those individuals. Like, it's
like I said,
just lunacy.
I almost have to slap myself every time I read a Marjorie Taylor Greene tweet because I'm like, oh, good idea.
George Santos?
Oh, he hasn't said anything reasonable, so.
Oh, no, yeah, and he's actually he's getting in trouble again for conning somebody.
I'm not shocked. I wish I was shocked, but I'm not shocked at all by that. So I hate to say the fun part, but the fun part of the tragic passing of Lindsey Graham is just starting, though. Have you seen the conspiracy theories?
You know what? As soon as you mentioned it, or as soon as you texted me, I was just like, Lindsey Graham passed away. Oh, the Dark Force.
So no, the Dark Force wouldn't want this. They definitely wasn't them. He just got back from Ukraine. First of all, before we get into this, let me set up what he was doing in Ukraine. First of all, he's the one person in our government that's really pushing Trump to keep helping Ukraine. Trump doesn't want to help Ukraine. Russia is spending a lot of time and energy trying to convince Trump not to help Ukraine. Lindsey Graham is the one person that's, and I'll say this about Lindsey. Like, Lindsey was very against Trump in 2015, 2016. There's all kinds of quotes where he was saying, if we elect Trump, we'll get what we deserve, blah, blah, blah. But then he flipped. There's a lot of people that say that, like, Lindsey's being really calculated and he's being an operator here. Like, he wants Trump to do certain things, protect Israel and fund Israel, protect Ukraine. And in order to stay in his good graces and get him to do these couple things that are the most important to him, he's willing to go along with some of the other crazy stuff that he really doesn't care about, but he'll back Trump. It's kind of a I'll wash your back, you wash mine situation. Anyhow, so I think he's playing the game. I think Lindsey is straight up playing the game. But Lindsey,
Not no more.
not anymore. But so Lindsey went to Ukraine, toured a drone manufacturing facility, met with Zelensky. He had one big announcement right before he left. Let's check that out.
I'm pleased to announce, as of about 30 minutes ago, we've reached agreement with the White House on a version of the Russian sanctions bill that they will support. It means it's going to become law. So when I get back to Washington, I'm going to go with Senator Blumenthal to the Republican and Democratic leader to see if we can find time to move this Russian sanctions package that would give tools to President Trump to help end this war.
So
Okay.
the Russian economy is in terrible shape right now, and it's getting worse by the minute. And Lindsey has been pushing for new sanctions on Russia to really just to drive the final nail through the coffin and make it to where they can't continue this war. Russia doesn't like that, obviously. They're playing the other side, trying to get Trump not to get involved, not to do sanctions. Russia's known, like, let's be real, like, Russia's killed several different people using chemical agents. What was it, Navalny? They got him with something called, like, Namnachuk or something. I can't remember. CNN's been running this thing the past couple of weeks, the Salisbury poisonings. It was some guy who defected from Russia, was in England, and they poisoned him with some exact thing like they got Navalny with. And I think he died, but his daughter lived. And they're known to do this. Lindsey was just flying internationally, got home and had a sudden cardiac arrest. It's not, here's the thing, it's not implausible to think, did Russia somehow taint him with some nerve agent or something that caused cardiac arrest?
Yeah.
Not implausible. And thankfully, the smartest of the GOP is already on this. Laura Loomer to the rescue. Did Russia just poison Lindsey Graham? There seriously needs to be an investigation. Russia just sent a delegation to Khomeini's funeral in Tehran, where the IRGC and funeral organizers were calling for myself, President Trump, and Senator Graham to be assassinated. Lindsey Graham was in Ukraine one day ago calling for Russian sanctions bill that he claimed White House supports. Now he is suddenly dead from a random illness, according to his staff. Did Russia just kill Lindsey Graham? Here's the thing. Loomer's crazy in every sense of the word, but, like, I'm not going to flat out dismiss this until there's an autopsy. Everyone that Russia's done this to, there's been evidence that it happened in the autopsy. Like, they're able to see that, hey, some nerve agent was used here or whatever it is. So, like, I'm not going to make fun of people saying this was some kind of a hit until we find out there's nothing in the autopsy. If there's nothing in the autopsy, then I'm done. I'm not going to claim conspiracy, but, like, my ears are open. Like, I'd like to see what the autopsy says.
What would that mean? That would mean World War III, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how Trump and like this is where would Trump possibly protect Putin in that instance? Would he bury that evidence? I don't know.
He might.
I
Holy shit.
it feels weird to even say that, but, like, it maybe. So I don't know. And would he do it to prevent, like, because if we say Russia just killed a U.S. senator, we kind of have to go to war with them. So would he do it for the good of the world and not starting a nuclear war with Russia? I don't know. And again, let's be real clear. Lindsey Graham was 71 years old. He's had blood pressure issues since he was in his 40s. His dad died of a heart attack at 69. Like, 71-year-olds die of sudden heart attacks frequently in America. Like, this isn't weird. It's not like he was young and healthy and just suddenly. So he probably died of cardiac arrest brought on by high blood pressure and stress and all kind. Probably nothing to see here. Also, I'd like to see the autopsy. Like, I hope we're doing a full autopsy, and if there is any evidence that there was some trick, some fuckery, like, yeah, I'm going to look straight at Russia. Like that's the person who would most like Lindsey Graham gone. That being
Yeah.
said, probably just a normal heart attack, but I'm all ears and I'd like to hear these things. They
Ooh.
also, you know who's not helping dismiss the conspiracy theory stuff? Cash Patel.
Oh.
Cash. Cash Patel tweeted this morning, Senator Lindsey Graham was a devoted public servant, a fierce defender of our nation, and a true patriot who dedicated his life to the people of South Carolina and the United States. Our prayers are with with his family, loved ones, colleagues, and all those who knew him during this devastating time. The last line here. The FBI is assisting local authorities and has made every necessary resource available. What assistance would the FBI have to give to a heart attack? None. The FBI has nothing. What? Why tweet that? Like, that's going to feed everybody who thinks that maybe there's a conspiracy theory afoot here is going to look at this Cash tweet and say, oh, wait, the FBI is getting involved. What? The FBI doesn't need to get involved unless something happened.
Yeah.
And Cash probably is just shooting from the hip here. He probably tweeted this without any knowledge of anything going on, but
yeah, he's an idiot. I thought he was getting fired. I thought he was the next one on the list.
Did you hear the whole deal that happened with him? We're going to sidetrack for a second, but it happened with him Friday morning? Or maybe it was Saturday morning. Either Friday or Saturday, he was getting on his plane to go to Chicago for the weekend, and a story had broke. I guess the people in the FBI are getting sick of this crap, but every weekend he flies to see his girlfriend, and he arranges a field office like visit or inspection. So like he called and said, hey, set it up for me to visit the field office in Chicago and do a walkthrough, and I'm checking up on him. But really it's because his girlfriend was doing a show in Chicago, and he wanted to fly there on the FBI jet. So he keeps doing this. I can't remember, New York Times or somebody just put out a story on this. So he was getting on his plane. He tweeted out, basically talking shit to, I think it was the New York Times. I'm going to go ahead and say it was them. But he basically tweeted out like, no, they're so wrong, blah, blah, blah. They don't know any. This is a shitty tweet by him. Trump called him while he was on the tarmac and said, get your ass to the White House right now. You're not going anywhere. And everybody thought, oh, shit, Cash is in trouble. He got called to the principal's office. Like Trump saw the story that he keeps flying to see his girlfriend, and the FBI, like the people underneath him are upset about it. He must be in trouble. Well, it turns out that's not what it was. Trump called him to the office because, and this is a whole separate story, Trump couldn't fly back from Turkey on his new Air Force One because it doesn't have defensive countermeasures. And several, I think the New York Times was the first to report that, but several people reported that. Trump wants those people, those journalists, investigated for leaking national security. He met with Cash that morning. By that night, there were agents arriving at these journalists' doors, delivering subpoenas, threatening jail time if they don't tell who their sources were. And it doesn't seem like it's even like it's people were pointing out like on the real Air Force One, there's like a bubble on the nose, and inside of that bubble is some kind of a radar that detects incoming missiles and would countermeasures, all kinds of stuff like that. And the new Air Force One doesn't. So to the naked eye, people that know what's supposed to happen are looking at this plane going, hey, it doesn't have any of the defensive countermeasures. That's what they reported. He's threatening jail time for them. So that's a whole separate thing that we need to talk about.
The reporting, that's First Amendment rights right there. And also like so he flew to Turkey without these measures, and then the reporting happened, and now he was grounded.
So, and I'm not sure the exact sequence. I think he flew to England in his new jet, parked the new jet, and then flew on the old Air Force One from England to Turkey, then left Turkey on the old Air Force One to England, then hopped on his new jet and flew it back from there. So, and he made up some stupid story where he said, "Oh, I left it in Europe so that the troops would get a chance to look at it. He wants all the troops at the base to get to tour it and all that." So he was doing it out of the kindness of his heart for them. Never in a million years, but that was his story. So
okay,
anyhow.
Yeah, I guess if you're flying into the Middle East, then you kind of need all that
Turkey's very close to what's going on over in like the Gulf Coast area, like Iran. Turkey's right there. So for the president to fly in and out of there alone right now, a little dangerous, especially if you're suddenly on a plane that doesn't have all the defensive countermeasures that Air Force One is supposed to have. So smart on them, but it's just a waste of money. Like he should have taken the old Air Force One straight from Washington, D.C. to Turkey and back. But instead we flew two planes to England, then one plane from England to Turkey, and then back, and then two planes. Like just a waste of money. But he doesn't care.
Jeez.
So anyhow, with Lindsey Graham gone and Mitch McConnell who knows? Who knows where Mitch is? The math in the Senate just got a lot more complicated for Republicans. Okay, Republicans right now have a 51-47 lead, assuming McConnell's not coming back anytime soon. It used to be 53-47. It's down to 51-47. Of those 51 votes, real quick, we've got Tom Tillis and Bill Cassidy, who were both primaried with Trump's help. Like Trump backed their challenger. They're out of a job after January. They have suddenly grown a spine and are standing up to Trump. So there's 2 votes right there that are shaky at best. Then you have Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and John Cornyn also primaried. So three senators that he helped fund the primary opponent. Now they're mad at him. And then you got Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, who both, Collins is up for re-election, but both of them have not been afraid to vote against Trump. He's got important things to put up. He's trying to get Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General. He's trying to get him confirmed to be the Attorney General. He's going to need 51 votes, I believe, to get that.
Okay.
He can't, I think he can afford to lose 1 vote, but not 2 right now, is I think where it's at. And he's got 4 or 5 that he can't count on. So
okay,
kind of might be a lame duck through the rest of this session. I don't know. We'll see.
I like it.
Yeah. So,
Lame duck him.
Anyhow, speaking of Iran, Trump was on almost every show this morning. He was on CNN, he was on Meet the Press, Face the Nation, and apparently he had told them in advance he's willing to come on, but he doesn't want to talk about Iran. He only wants to talk about Lindsey Graham. Didn't stop the reporters from asking him. These were kind of funny. Check out the first one.
Iran has declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. Is that true, Mr. President?
It's open as far as we're concerned. Don't talk about it. Talk about the reason that you asked me to speak.
Okay. We appreciate your time, sir.
Don't talk about it.
Don't talk.
Doesn't want to talk about it.
It's open as far as we're concerned. Don't talk about it. Okay. That's the answer. We're gonna get to the actual what's going on with the Strait in a second, but real quick, just to finish it out, he said a little bit more on NBC with Kristen Welker. Here's this.
You obviously launched a fresh round of strikes overnight. Iran said overnight the Strait of Hormuz is closed. CENTCOM came out this morning and said the Strait of Hormuz is open. Which is it, Mr. President, and how are you going to respond?
And I don't want to talk about it because I want to honor the life of Lindsey Graham, so I don't want to talk about it. I told you that before the call.
Yeah.
It's open. We bombed the hell out of them last night. They're very, very evil and sick people. We had meetings with them for the last. They agreed to a deal yesterday, a perfect deal for us. No nuclear, no this, no that, no nothing. They gave up everything. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they left the room. And then within an hour, they launched a drone at a ship. I said, you people are sick. You're sick people. And so it's one of those things. I don't want to talk about it.
Finally, before I let you go.
I want to talk about one person today, Lindsey Graham.
As we should, Mr. President. Just finally, before I let you go, what?
So, first of all, real quick there, out of nowhere, he said, we met with them yesterday and we had a deal. It was a great deal. Nobody knows where that came from. We didn't meet with him yesterday. There was no negotiations. Like, he's making shit up. Like, that's the only, like, there was no announcement.
He's always making shit up. That's the problem. He's almost never telling the truth.
We met with him yesterday. We had a great deal, and then an hour later they blew up a ship. Or no, he might be losing his mind. Like, is he lying or is he in a fantasy land? I don't know. And this all comes down to, this is real simple, okay? It was item number 5 in the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. And the language is, we should pull it up at some point, but the language is Iran controls the passage in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. I can't remember exactly how they put it, but the way that Iran reads that is you have to check in with them. You have to follow their system. And they're not charging a fee, but you have to check in with them, get in line, and go the exact route they want you to go. America keeps sneaking ships out the other way through the Strait of Hormuz, and Trump keeps bragging about it. And they were very clear in their interpretation of what it says, and it is a little vague, but they firmly believe they control the strait. We're trying to say, no, you're in charge of the safety of boats getting in and out, but they can leave however they want. Either way, we keep sneaking ships out. Every ship they've hit has been ones that aren't following their procedure to contact them and go this certain route. We're trying to sneak ships out the southern route. They're hitting them. The ship they hit this morning apparently is sinking. Like, it's going to go down. So every ship up till now has just been hit but hasn't sunk. This one is sinking. So
just a bunch of oil in the middle of the ocean again.
Yep. So Perfect. Anyhow, also, and this is just fun for me, but as if we needed more reasons to go back to war, the pro-Israel people have been pissed ever since the MOU got signed and have been trying to find ways to talk Trump into going back to war. They found a good one, and it's one they've tried before, but I think it's going to work.
Israel shared intelligence with the U.S. that Iran had devised a new plan to assassinate President Donald Trump. Two sources familiar with the matter told CNN.
If is
Yeah.
if Israel said it, it must be true.
Yeah, of
So,
course, of course.
Israel got this secret intelligence that Iran's. First of all, I do believe Iran would like to kill Trump if they had an opportunity. I mean, we killed their leader. Like, it's kind of hysterical that we killed their leader and are bragging about it, celebrating it. But then we hear that they might want to kill Trump, and it's like, well, that's crossing a line. No,
We not only killed their their government leader, but we killed their religious leader.
Yeah,
Like killed
all
both.
in one. Yeah. So Trump tweeted, and this was after finding this out. Trump's response: 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded and aimed at the Islamic Republic of Iran, with thousands of more to immediately follow. Should the Iranian government act on its threat, pronounced it in many corners of the globe, to assassinate or attempt to assassinate the sitting president of the United States of America, in this case, me, with an exclamation point. Orders have already been given, and the U.S. military is ready, willing, and able for a 1-year period of time, subject to extension, to completely decimate and destroy all areas of Iran. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. Yeah. So he's basically letting them know that basically he's left instructions that should he be assassinated, we are going to bomb them for 1 year's period of time and totally destroy their country.
Okay.
Yeah. So
whatever.
Needless to say, I think the ceasefire is over. The MOU's done. We are like, just so you know, he said in that call a second ago that we bombed them a lot last night. Well, guess what? We bombed them a lot this morning too. Also, they're hitting our bases incredibly. There's all kinds of video coming out of our bases.
I thought our bases were already destroyed.
They're hitting what hasn't been destroyed yet. There's video of our bases up in smoke right now. So we're done with the ceasefire.
We don't have any people there or anything.
I think we've evacuated everybody from any base close to them.
Yeah.
Now, there's a base in Jordan, and I can't remember the name, that apparently hadn't been hit yet, and it houses our Reaper drone fleet. And apparently they hit all the hangars that our Reaper drones were in. So we don't know how many Reaper MQ-9 Reaper drones got lost. What are those? I think we saw one time those are like 30 million a pop. Apparently they took out the hangar that all of them were stored in. So
great.
Yeah. So, and the main thing to keep in mind here is the reason Iran was trying to limit ships to going through their special corridor, it's very obvious. They were trying to limit the number of ships going in and out each day. They wanted to be able to say, yeah, the strait's open. You just have to follow our certain way to get out of here. But they didn't want too many ships to go in and out because that would actually help restock the world's oil reserves. And they don't want that. They want to say it's open, but they know that we would love to buy some time and build our reserves back up while at the same time building up our missile stockpile, which J.D. Vance, I should have pulled this video, but J.D. Vance came out and said this a week ago. He said, oh, well, President Trump was just trying to buy some time so we could build back up our reserves and our missile stockpile, and then we can do it again. He flat out said that. I'm sure Iran saw that, so that probably leads to why we're here right now.
Well, what are we doing? This is the thing, is we're not doing anything besides now I saw that we devastated a bridge over there.
Two bridges that were railway bridges for like trains, and apparently those bridges are already fixed and back up and running, just FYI. So
okay, well that's good, but it's like, what are we doing? We're just like hurting the infrastructure, killing civilians. We're not really, there's no leader to really go after, and what are we doing? There's nothing we're really doing to them besides just bombing them for fun.
Well, Marco Rubio said the whole thing we're trying to do right now, the main operation we're trying to do, is to basically take out all of their missile infrastructure around the Strait of Hormuz so that we take that's their main point of leverage, and we're trying to take that away from them. So right now, our entire focus is on reopening the Strait of Hormuz fully, which, again,
the strait was already open before the war.
It was open, but that's everything we're doing right now is all about reopening the Strait of Hormuz. We're not even talking nuclear. We're just trying to get the Strait of Hormuz back to open. So, which I see why we're trying to do that, because if they have the leverage of the Strait of Hormuz, they don't need a nuclear weapon. They could just close that at any moment, and that is their nuclear option, is close the Strait of Hormuz. So
yeah, but is there a chance that we actually take the Strait of Hormuz? Because it sounds like we have to take it from them. Just
The
to
only,
actually think.
from what I've seen, people that are smarter than me with military background say the only way we could really take it is if we invaded that southern part of Iran and like held their coastline, basically. Like we have to have troops on both sides of it to make sure it's open. That's boots on the ground. I don't know that Trump's got the appetite for that, but anyhow. As far as oil reserve goes, and we're coming to a critical point here. First of all, do you remember this was 2 weeks ago when Trump was talking in Europe at a summit, and he said we are 4 weeks away from the oil reserves being depleted. You remember when he said that?
Yep.
Also, we run out of reserves in about 4 weeks. You know, there are reserves all over the world, and we would really run out. And there'll be a time when you wouldn't be able to get it. And you want to see bedlam?
So we're still 4 weeks away. We have not put a single gallon of gas back into the oil reserve. So we're still sitting 4 weeks away. There's a chart that's been floating around on the internet. I don't understand a lot of this, but apparently you can't run the tank totally dry or else the whole system will have an issue. So there's a minimum operating level. What is that called? Estimated minimum operating level. We are only 19 million barrels away from hitting that minimum operating level. So we've been releasing from the strategic reserve for the last several months to keep the global oil price down. You know what the strategic oil reserve is supposed to be for?
The United States consumes 20.6 million barrels a day.
Yeah, and we're still getting oil from other places,
Yeah.
but right now we've been pumping out our oil reserves to the rest of the world to help keep global prices down. Our oil reserves have a very specific purpose. They're from times where we get attacked, but more importantly, natural disasters. Like we're in hurricane season right now. When a hurricane comes up through the Gulf of Mexico, it always hits all the oil refineries and stuff on the Texas coast, and that's when we need to have the oil reserve step in and pick up the slack from where those are lacking. We can't do that right now. We have 19 million barrels to spare, and we're probably going to have to use those this week in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Because the strait is once again closed, according to Iran. So once we hit that minimum operating level, we can't artificially bring the price of gas down anymore. And people are saying, I don't know if this is true, but people are saying it's going to skyrocket quickly. Like it's going to go from I think where I'm at in Oklahoma, we hit 305 a gallon a week and a half ago, maybe. And that was the lowest we'd been since all this started. And now it's already back to 329. So 24 cents in the last 7 to 10 days, roughly.
The Supreme Court just ruled on this, that Trump couldn't go to war without approval by Congress, right?
I didn't see anything about that. When did that happen?
Am I wrong?
I believe you are.
I could have sworn, did that not go to the Supreme Court?
Not that I'm aware of. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember that at all.
Huh.
Like a war powers resolution?
Yeah. What was
So the Senate had voted a week or two ago that they voted in favor of the war powers resolution to basically limit him. But then he called and stiff-armed a couple people, and then they went back and re-voted on it like the same day or the next day. And two people, I believe, flipped their vote. So now it's off, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, but that's where we're sitting. We got 19 million barrels. So when that happens, like, I can't stress this enough, but when that happens, the jump's not going to be like 10 cents or, 10 cents every couple days. No, it's going to go suddenly from I think the national average today is 3.88 a gallon. Like it's going to go from that to like $5 to $6 a gallon in a day or two. Like it's going to be quick. So we don't have a lot of time to screw around with this. Like we need to either make a deal and get the strait reopened again, or go, if we're going to try to fight and get the strait open, we need to put everything we have into it. I don't want boots on the ground, but this whole little, we're going to kind of bomb them, it's just going to drag on forever, and then gas is going to get ridiculous. So
yeah, November can't come fast enough, bro.
Yeah, well, and we're going to get to November in a second here. Real quick, it's Sunday right now. It's Sunday at about 4:30 Central Time. Since we've been fighting, especially since Friday when the markets closed, bombs away, tonight or tomorrow morning, Trump's definitely going to come out with some kind of a statement that, hey, we just talked to Iran. They want to make a deal. We're going to stop. He's going to do a market manipulation tweet. He's going to say everything's fine right before the stock market opens. Real quick, CNN took the liberty of putting together a montage. I'd like to play for you real quick.
They want to make a deal.
And they want to make a deal so badly.
They want to make a deal so badly. I do see a deal in Iran. It's looking very good that we're going to make a deal. This process should go very quickly. We're going to end that war very quickly. We're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal. And they want to make the deal a lot more than I do. We have our deal done with Iran, and it should be successful. We're making an amazing deal with Iran. They want to make a deal with us very badly. They're dying to make a deal. They're giving us a lot. They want to make a deal so badly.
So here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying, well, clearly Iran doesn't want us to keep bombing them. Like they can't take any more of us bombing them is what I keep hearing from experts everywhere. I got to say, I think all these experts are wrong. Like they closed the strait and started firing missiles at ships in the strait. They know our response is going to be to bomb them. I don't think they're afraid of that. Like, I know that doesn't make any sense, but like they have to know that if they're going to shoot at a strip in the Strait of Hormuz, like we're going to launch missiles at them. Yet they do it anyway. I don't think they want to make a deal. I think that they said at the very beginning of this that their goal is to drag this out till the midterms and make Trump feel pain and make our economy feel pain because they want Trump to lose the House and lose the Senate. Like they were pretty clear on that. And it seems like that's what they're okay with getting bombed. They want that to happen. That's where we're at.
Yeah. I mean, either way, they come out ahead. As long as we don't take the Strait of Hormuz from them, they come out ahead. Because, like you said, they have the nuclear option of just closing down the Strait of Hormuz every time.
And it sucks. I don't think that their government gives a shit about their civilians dying because it's like, oh, the U.S. is going to keep bombing us. Cool. Bomb away. Like they don't mind.
Does our government give a shit about us?
I think they would at least act like it. They would put on a better show of pretending to care.
Oh yeah, like passing the Affordable Housing Act that just got
that actually went through. Like, because Trump could have vetoed it and he didn't. He said publicly, I'm not going to sign this. But then since he didn't veto it, it went into basically he had like 10 or 12 days to sign it, and if he doesn't sign it during those 12 days, it goes into
so it actually went through. Okay,
it went through, but without his signature.
Okay.
So anyhow, the one good thing that's happening here is we've had our two negotiators. You know who our main two negotiators for America are in all things?
Kushner and Witkoff. And so far, I mean, they've done a pretty good job. I mean, you look at Ukraine. I mean, they've been working on that for a year and a half. And Iran, they've been working on for what, 4 or 5 months? Amazing negotiators.
They're knocking it out of the park. Now, everybody that has a sense has been saying, why do we have two real estate guys doing this? Like we have a State Department that has people that are qualified to do this. And even Iran, when Iran went into the negotiations, they were telling reporters, they were like, the two guys that showed up seem to not know anything about like our nuclear program. Like Iran brought technical people to discuss the nuclear program to the negotiations. We didn't bring any. We brought Witkoff and Kushner. The good news is the right is starting to wake up to this. Brian Kilmeade said something that shocked me the other day.
And I also don't think that Witkoff and Kushner should be the ones doing this. They're business guys. They have not been effective in Ukraine, not been effective in Gaza. They have not been effective in this. They can't have three portfolios to begin with. We have a State Department for a reason. Marco Rubio, even Democrats admit, has been looked at as a genius internationally. He is the guy that most people would want, even if you gave truth serum to Democrats. He should take the lead on this because you can't do this like a business deal. You have to understand the history of the region and how distrustful the Iranians have been. They will only make a decision if they have no other choice.
So, and Kilmeade said there, even Democrats would agree that Marco Rubio is a genius internationally. I'm not going that far, but what I will say is I'd rather have Marco Rubio in the State Department handling these negotiations for sure. I'm not ready to say he's a genius.
What was the pushback on Kilmeade on that one?
They didn't really. They really didn't. Like they're all aware that the negotiations.
Gutfeld didn't have some stupid ass remark to say.
Nope. None of them were in defense of Kushner and Witkoff there. So that's good to know. The other reason, real quick, that we are in a time crunch, besides oil is the main reason why we got to get this sorted out ASAP. There is another reason, though.
The Defense Department was funded with a budget of nearly $1 trillion, but is running out of cash, according to 3 U.S. officials, a former defense official, outside experts, and 2 congressional staff members. We're running out of $1 trillion?
Yes, and so Trump has been trying to get this supplemental funding bill for the Defense Department through Congress, and The Department of War, Congress has asked several times, how much have we spent on this war? And I think their official number is like 32 billion or so. It's something really small. Estimates are that it's well over 100 billion. I'll bet that's even low. But
Yeah.
because of the war, we are asking for 300 billion. So I'm willing to bet 300 billion is what this has really cost us so far. But we're saying, well, it's only cost us 30, but we need 300. Nobody's got an appetite to do that right now, especially heading into the midterms. But Trump is really pushing for that, and we're really about to run out of money. On that note, you would think, well, maybe we could just move some money around. Take some money out of one place and give it to defense. No, we can't fucking do that.
U.S. Treasury has borrowed 155 billion every month of this fiscal year and is now paying 24 billion a week in interest on its debts.
Remember when Trump said he was going to balance the
Whoa.
budget?
Whoa.
Every month of his term, we've had to borrow 155 billion just to make ends meet. Okay.
Has anybody asked Bassett about this?
I don't know. I'm sure they would deflect. I'm sure they would talk about, oh, well, the Biden administration. No, I don't want to hear it. Okay. Trump is now responsible for 28% of our total national debt. We're 39 trillion in debt, and Trump himself did 28% of that. Okay. This whole Trump talking about how Trump has said recently, like, well, we balanced the budget. You're borrowing 155 billion a month to make ends meet. You didn't balance the budget. Like, I'm sure if you ask, like, there's been several videos where people ask Republicans about the debt that was incurred on Trump's first term, and they're always like, no, he didn't add to the debt at all. No, he added to the debt more than Obama. Like, that's
yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah,
so
more than any other president. Yeah, I mean, the guy claimed bankruptcy 7 times, and now he's bankrupting the United States of America.
He bankrupted casinos. From what I understand, it's really hard to bankrupt a casino, but he's done it. He's bankrupting the nation. He's bankrupted. What has he gone bankrupt? Is it 7 or 9 times? I always mess up. 7 times?
Yeah. Yeah.
He promised to run this like he runs a business, and he is. He's bankrupting us just like he runs a business. It's fucking ridiculous. Now, and if they asked Bissent about it, like, one of the things that they were saying throughout the first year was, well, like, we have to get the economy really moving. You got to spend some money to make some money. It's basically it. And they kept saying that, oh, in Q3, that's when it's the Trump economy. And then it's Q4. And then it's first quarter of 2026. And now it's fourth quarter. They keep pushing back the goalposts. They keep pointing, like, this was a month ago. They were showing, oh, look, U.S. beef exports. Our U.S. beef farmers are doing quite well. Look at all these exports. Well, they had to revise that number down.
USDA had to revise its late June U.S. beef export numbers down 90%. Quite the error. Holy moly.
That's like when they have to revise the jobs numbers, it's always like, wow, that's a lot of jobs. 90% is quite a miss there, buddy. Like 90% of what you claimed we were exporting, turns out we're importing a shitload, especially from Argentina right now. Has to do with a couple different things, screwworm being one of them, but we're not exporting beef hardly at all. Every economic indicator right now, between inflation, jobs, our exports, our GDP, everything is bad, but they keep saying, oh, the good times are right around the corner. And Trump keeps saying we're in the golden age now. Lutnick and Bissent are smart enough to say we're just about to be in the golden age. It's right around the corner. But when? Like, is this still Biden's fault? Like, if you pointed out these numbers, they'd probably say, well, we're still dealing with the Biden economy. No, it's been a year and a half. This is the Trump economy, and it's getting worse.
Yeah. Well, and they say that egg prices are going up like 4% every month. Everything's just skyrocketing. And remember, that was a huge thing they were talking about was eggs.
Well,
during the election.
Did you see what happened with the egg stuff?
Like back when Biden was
No, new news on that, and I'll see if I can pull it and add it in here. But there is a court case going on right now where it turns out like there's like 4 big egg manufacturers, like the 4 biggest ones, like that put out eggs in the supermarkets, and we have text messages of them texting back and forth, like artificially inflating the price, like basically saying, hey, there's this bird flu going around. It'd be a shame to waste such a good problem. Let's raise it. So they all coordinated to raise prices together. So price gouging, and like Kamala Harris was talking about price gouging, and Republicans were losing their shit about that. Turns out, proven, like they were. You're not allowed to do that in several different ways, but anyhow, that's actually working its way through courts right now, and if they get found guilty, their penalty is going to be so minuscule. For the money they actually made, it's one of those where it's really not even a penalty. So,
well, we had all those audio tapes of like what was it? CEOs and fiduciary funds like just talking about price gouging, like even before this egg thing, right? So they've been doing it for a while, and it's not just the egg company, it's all of the companies. It's every single one of them.
But if you try to make a rule to stop people from price gouging, Republicans will say that's communism or socialism, even though Trump tweeted, I think just a week ago, about gas stations doing price gouging and how he's ordering them to stop. It's like, well, hold on. When Kamala said it, that was communism. Trump saying it and it's not now? Okay. Yeah, I think there should be rules that prohibit companies from price gouging, but Republicans don't agree with that. So,
I mean, the American people are struggling right now. They're saying that like 50% of people are having problems buying gas and food.
Oh, and it depends on what circles you run in, but for me, it's way more than 50%. Everybody I know and talk to on a daily basis is struggling in this economy right now. So I'm sure there's some rich people out there that everybody they know is doing just fine, but yeah, not where I'm at. So anyhow, I got one other issue, but can I play you a funny video that just cracked me up real quick before I cover this last thing?
Let's do it.
So in Russia, by the way, and this isn't getting talked about nearly enough, but Ukraine is hitting Russia hard. They're sending drones into Russia daily, and they're hitting their fuel depots and fuel storage. That is a big part of the reason that diesel prices are way up. Is like we're losing, like there's not the normal amount of fuel coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, but also Russian oil exports are way down because Ukraine is hitting them. So that's part of the problem here. But Russia's trying to figure out how to defend against these drones. Machine guns take down drones, but it's hard to hit them. So they are taking basically, on like the side of a helicopter, that like machine gun that's mounted to the helicopter, the door gunner. So they're taking those off of helicopters and mounting them. Their goal is to mount them up on buildings and stuff so they can shoot down these slow moving drones as they fly through. They decided to test this first, just to see, and it's a great thing they decided to test it. There's a reason that those things are bolted down, and if you ever notice, there's also like a rope or a chain swinging both ways to keep it to where it can only turn. There's only a range of fire of so much.
Sure.
This is their first test run. I don't know how this video got out, but this is their first test run with just doing this from the ground.
Holy shit. Are we sure that's not AI?
I don't believe it's AI. I don't believe it is.
That's hilarious.
That made me laugh so hard. I just wanted to share that.
That looks so much like AI. I mean, he just swung around. Oh, that's so great.
Anyhow, if it is AI, props to whoever made it, but that made me giggle. So anyhow, there is more construction going on at the White House. What part of the White House hasn't he began construction on? Well, the front door. First of all, I didn't even pull this, but they got it approved, I guess, in the city of DC, where they're going to put fencing up all around, not just the White House, but the streets around the White House. Remember how there were protests in Lafayette Square, which is right across from the White House? Trump, he had his people go in and clear them out, and then he walked out and held up the upside down Bible in his first term. Well, in case, I don't know, anything happens, maybe somebody tries to screw with the midterms or, refuses to leave after getting voted out. He doesn't want people to be able to get that close to the White House. So they're putting these huge fences, is what they're calling it, up all around the streets around the White House to where like they can hit a button and gates will shut and nobody will be able to even get near the White House. So and people in DC are pissed because it's going to look awful. Like it's just going to be aesthetically nasty. But he's doing that. And then he also said, the front door of the White House isn't secure enough. We need to beef up the front door. While doing so, they put up a big curtain around the front door, but the curtain is a picture of the old front door to where if you just were to walk by and look real quick, it looks like nothing's going on, but you're looking at a curtain with a picture on it. Check this out. Can you tell anything's weird there?
No.
You're looking at a picture of the front door hanging over the front of the White House.
Picture of the front door hanging over. Like, is it just the front door or like the whole front?
So zoom in on it and you can see the fabric wrinkling. Zoom in right above the door. There's a chandelier.
Oh, so it's the whole front of not even just the front door. Yeah, and that crane looks like the crane is holding it up.
I think the crane's in the back somewhere. But yeah, so they've got a curtain with a picture of the front of the White House on it to hide what they're doing back behind. Now, it said that they are upgrading its front door to fortify the entrance. You know the whole like Trump's building a bunker, underneath the new East Wing,
Yeah.
and it seems like he's preparing to not leave. I hate to keep saying that, but like I'm very worried. On that note, this week, I think it's about 3 or 4 days ago, he fired everybody on it's the EAC, it's the Election Commission. If there is a dispute about the elections, they're the people that step in and resolve it. The people on this commission are appointed by the Senate. Okay, it's equal amount of Democrats and Republicans, and they're appointed by the Senate. And ultimately, like if there's a dispute, they're the ones that step in to try to handle things. He fired the whole group. He just disbanded them. It doesn't exist anymore. If you're wondering, does he have the power to do that? No, he doesn't. The Senate should be able to step in right here and challenge it, undo it, whatever. But the Senate's run by pussies right now, so they're not going to do anything about it. So
Yeah.
we had the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, and Trump fired all the Democrats on it, so there's only Republicans remaining. We had the EAC, which is totally disbanded. And then you have the DOJ, which is fixing to be run by Todd Blanche, his personal defense attorney. If there is fuckery in the midterms, those are the three groups that would step in and try to resolve things. One of them's disbanded. The other one only has Republicans on it now that he chose. The third is the DOJ run by his people. I hate to say it. There's no way we're going to have free and fair midterms. I don't see how it's even possible at this point.
Oh my gosh.
I hate to. At that point, I will join you in calling him a fascist or an authoritarian or whatever word you want to use. But I'm really worried that either the elections are not going to be held in a free and fair manner, or whatever the result is, he's going to say was rigged, was cheating, and he's going to refuse to accept the results. I think that's the more realistic. Is he's going to use the DOJ to find something that happened in one of the, and he's going to say, look right here. This is fraud. The whole election shouldn't count. He's only going to do that in the states where he loses seats. In the other states, everything will be fine. Those people will be sworn in. But in certain states run by Democrats, not going to be allowed.
Every election that he's been involved in, he's called fraud, or somebody has called fraud.
Yep.
I mean, who's the lady in Nevada? What's her name?
In Nevada, I can't remember.
She kind of like short hair. She was calling for election fraud in Nevada. Carrie Lake.
Oh, that's Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you got Carrie Lake. You got, they just can't accept to lose.
What? Bill Maher had JD Vance on like a week or two ago, and he said flat out, he said, with your side, there's two possible results. Either you win or it's fraud. Like, when are you going to give that shit up? And JD Vance kind of laughed, and he's like, well, like, the fraud I'm talking about is big tech censorship, blah, 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 blah. Like 90% of the articles written about Trump are negative, this and that. And they say, okay, maybe that's what you're talking about. That's not what the rest of the party's talking about. The rest of the party thinks that dead people are voting, illegal aliens are voting, Republican ballots are getting thrown into dumpsters, like whatever it is. Like, okay, yeah, if you want to make an argument about big tech having a sway in like, I can listen to that. There is some truth to the fact that most of the articles written about Trump are negative, and that's because he does a lot of negative shit. Like, he does a lot of shit that warrants that kind of coverage. But at least, hey, let's talk about that. I'm all ears. That's not what the rest of them are saying. If JD Vance wants to act like that's all we're talking about here, that's bullshit. So
yeah, they're talking about ballot dumps and yeah.
Oh, we were up, and then there was this mysterious ballot. Yeah, that's because Fulton County, a large, primarily Democrat and African-American county, just put all their numbers in. That's the ballot dump. Like, every one of these ballot dumps, if you look at it, you go, oh, well, that makes total sense. But they won't ever look at the details. They just say, oh, look, a large jump of votes, and suddenly our guy's behind. Yeah. It's so dumb. So, anyhow, I'm worried about the midterms. And I'll say this. I think that he realizes he doesn't have a chance in hell of actually holding the House or the Senate. He still has a chance. In fact, realistically, if I had to put money on it today, I would say that Republicans are going to come out like 51-49 on the Senate. Is probably where this is going to end up. But the House, I don't see how so I think he knows he doesn't have a chance to win fairly. So he's got to do something to rig it. And he's trying to do that right now. So
yeah. Yeah, they've got plan A, plan B, plan C. They're not doing a good job with anything though. So are they going to do a good job with this? Like it just seems like he can't figure out Iran. He can't figure out he hasn't ended any wars. He says 8 wars. He hasn't ended any wars. He hasn't gotten the budget down. He keeps spending money.
We're
He
we're
can't
gr-
pass anything. His numbers are going down. He just can't win right now. And so how is he going to win in the midterms?
What the reason he got elected, and there's a couple different things. Here's the thing: border security. That was one. If you ask people truly why he won, some people will say the border, and the border is shut down for the most part. There's not a lot of legal border crossing, so that's one thing that you can point out and you say he did what he said he was going to do. I'll give him that. Okay. The rest of it is all the kitchen table issues, inflation.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think.
Job numbers.
Job numbers, cost of gas, like the no new wars thing. A lot of people were a big fan of no new wars, and here we are. So, with the exception of the border, everything else is not going his way. In fact, it's worse now than when he took over.
Everything is worse
Yeah,
besides the border.
and
Everything is worse.
you know how I know they know that? Because what was it, 6 months ago? Susie Wiles was saying, "Oh, well, we're going to put Trump on the ballot for the midterms. We're going to have him go out to all these states and do all these rallies and this and that." There is that hasn't happened yet, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And they know that Trump's a drag on the ticket right now. Like
Yeah.
if anything, like Democrats are going to try to tie their Republican opponent to Trump. They're going to try to make it look these two are buddy buddy. They're one and the same, and that Republican opponent is going to try to distance themselves from Trump. And good luck. Good luck, buddy. And Trump can't handle that. There are like Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, like Democrat people, they will tell people running, hey, whatever you need to do to win. If you need to talk bad about me, talk bad about me. We just need you to win. And they had the thick skin to handle that. There's no way you could make that make sense to Trump. You couldn't tell him, hey, this candidate in this state has got to kind of come out against you in order to win. And we need him to win. Trump's not going to allow that. He's not going to allow somebody to talk shit about him. So good luck. Anyhow, that's where we are. So RIP to Lindsey Graham. Iran, it seems like we're full on back in it right now. Except again, by the time I edit this and post this, Trump will have a tweet out saying that, oh well, we just talked to Iran and everything's good, and we're not. Everything's good. Stock market can resume. And then the elections, we're screwed. The elections is going to be rough. Is all I'm going to say.
Gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very interesting to watch what happens. I'm actually excited about watching this. I think there's gonna be a lot of fuckery, and I just hope that the Democrats come out on top.
I think that what's like the time between the elections, which is going to be the first Tuesday in November, whenever that is, to when people get sworn in on January 5th, like that is going to be a wild 3 months, whatever that is. Like that's like, and that's how it was after Trump lost in 2020, all the way up to January 6th. Like that was. We're gonna need to be podcasting like 4 days a week minimum to keep up with all the shit that's going on there. So
Speaking of, like and subscribe.
Thank you. Yes,
Leave a comment.
I almost think we should plan on like a 2 week break right before the elections happen, because then after that it's gonna be balls to the wall the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We have to do like 30-minute episodes every day.
I think so. Just to keep up with the court cases. We need to find a lawyer that we can have on to explain to us what's going on, because it's gonna be weird. So. Anyhow, that's all I got. Have a great rest of your Sunday, man, and we'll talk to you in a couple days. Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.